And can I say at the outset that I want to thank the Minister and members from all sides of this House for bringing to fruition a bill that will protect and support victims of domestic abuse. Many in this House have outlined the fact that domestic abuse is on the rise in the UK, and Northern Ireland figures released just today show an increase of 1,000 cases in the past 3 months. Figures show that there's a 15% increase on the same period last year. And domestic abuse is no respecter of gender or age. I just listened to an interview last week in the car as I travelled around the constituency of a young lady called Jolene Kaur, 27-year-old girl from Downpatrick. She was a mum of one, and she was propelled down a set of stairs and died as a result of a brain injury. Her mum was devastated and continues to be devastated. So I trust that this legislation will assist in bringing some comfort to people like the Kaur family. As a wife and mum, I am thankful for the safe haven of my own home, but I know that many throughout the UK do not have that safety that I enjoy. And I want this bill just to be the start of great things to assist victims. I also want to pay tribute to Mr. Stephen Smith from Northern Ireland, who today is running 100 miles in awareness for Men's Alliance Northern Ireland, a support group for male victims of domestic abuse, and I want to commend him for his efforts. I want to speak to New Clause 28. And Madam Deputy Speaker, a person who works with women experiencing domestic abuse in England, said this about New Clause 28 over the weekend. We work every day with women who experience domestic abuse. We see the way they are controlled and manipulated. To me, this suggested legislation will only be making that worse. It will give abusers more power and more reason to keep the women being abused at home away from people who can really help them. This House should not hinder these professionals in their work. This amendment seems to be a clear attempt to use the Domestic Abuse Bill as a vehicle to advance an agenda that is emphatic on expanding access to abortion, seemingly failing to acknowledge that allowing women to have an abortion at locations other than hospitals or places approved by the Secretary of State has already led to serious complications. We all know that abortion is not the answer to domestic abuse. Surely we should be addressing how women find themselves in such difficult situations and take measures to actually prevent this. I will.
Thank my honourable friend for giving way. Does the member agree that pushing this agenda has led to the ludicrous situation in Northern Ireland where one minister brought forward a proposal to allow for abortion pills to be administered by a foreign jurisdiction over the phone to patients in Northern Ireland? Is she appalled by that proposal as much as I am offended?
I agree with my honourable friend. It's an absolutely terrible situation that we have in Northern Ireland as a result of the legislation that was railroaded through this House and forced on the people of Northern Ireland. This amendment makes no provision for helping women get out of their abusive situation, providing women with abortion pills while failing to address the reasons why women may be unable to safely attend a clinic does not present itself as a responsible or logical solution to tackling domestic abuse. Our laws should be designed to help vulnerable women escape domestic abuse situations, not enable them to remain in these horrific situations. Indeed, if a woman is not assessed in person, specifically given an ultrasound, and if she has went beyond the legal limit for an abortion by pills, the risk of complication goes up dramatically. Coercion of some kind is frequent in an unplanned pregnancy, and in removing the requirement of a face-to-face consultation, there is no guarantee that a patient can speak freely without the coercive party listening in. Furthermore, we know that women are coerced into having abortions based on sex selection. If an abusive partner does not want a particular sex of a child, they can actually force their partner into having an abortion via the telemedicines. Turning then to New Clause 1, I welcome changes being made in relation to removing the defence of consent in cases of rough sex, but believe we need to do more to tackle the drivers for rough sex practices. And so I strongly support new clause 1 in the name of the Honourable Member for Coglinton, and can I commend her for her efforts and work in this regard. This House needs to be clear about depictions of rough sex and pornography. Such practices cannot be normalised, and such content should be made illegal. In terms of pornography that is already illegal, it is noticeable that the campaign group We Can't Consent to This, who have been advocating for a change in the law on the rough sex defence, states that, and I quote, "In 4 of the recent killings of women and girls, the men viewed extreme porn featuring violence, including strangulation, before or after the killing of the women."
Order.